I know that human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Hello and welcome to the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast. Here at Spoilt Milk, we like to discuss, destroy and dissect guilty pleasure movies and decide whether they're truly spoilt milk or if they've ascended into a fine, luxurious cheese. So without further ado, here we go.
Warning, this podcast is full of spoilers for the title feature and there's bad language from the start. If you've never seen the film or you're offended by bad language, you have been warned.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spoilt Milk Movie Podcast. As always, I'm joined by the Hobo. How are you, Hobo?
Pretty warm.
Yeah, it's a pretty warm day today.
Yeah, I mean, I normally have layers upon layers upon layers, but now the layers of mud are just not helping.
Replaced by layers of sweat. And Katty, we've got Katty as always. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not bad at all. And I'm just breaking everything.
I am fucking red hot.
Yeah.
I am roasting. I don't even want to feel under my arms. It's a cauldron of sweat under there.
As I came here, I had a very sweaty back.
So we've chose the best day to stay indoors and record a podcast.
What are we doing?
No, can't even let a breeze in. My hands are so sweaty. So sweaty. Right, okay, well, the film we're going to be covering today is Critters from 1986?
86? Sorry, I just wanted to join
know
you.
that, really.
I've got it in my notes, so let me bring up my
1986,
notes.
yeah.
86.
1986.
Yeah.
It's 86, I feel, is a good year.
Yeah,
we
I
do a
do.
lot of movies around 86.
If only I knew how old you were in 86. Maybe that's a hint. Is that your year of birth?
It's the year that I was hit with the curse of knowledge.
Oh, right, okay then. Right.
Does that give you a hint?
No.
No, it wasn't meant to.
So before we get on to Critters, we've got to delve into a top three that was sent in again by Nick Deere. I mean, trying to sprout out there and get other people's, but it was just a good question.
So the deer man.
Dear man.
Yeah.
Shitty little dear boy.
Maybe one day he'll buff it up at the gym and we'll go, dear man and that sexy deer body.
You sounded like you're writing him a letter then. Dear man.
Dear man.
You have a sexy deer body. So he wanted to know if we were in the film The Lobster, the Colin Farrell film, Hobo, do you want to give us a bit of an explanation about what The Lobster's about?
So The Lobster's about this retreat that you go to, well, not retreat really, this thing that you go to where you have to try and find your partner with a certain amount of days, and if you don't, you get turned into an animal. But it's your animal of choice, so they ask you at the start, so, what animal do you want to be? And in the film, Colin Farrell says he wants to be a lobster because they live forever. And another good reason.
They don't have brains.
What?
Lobsters don't have brains.
Do they not have brains?
What do you mean
They don't
have
live
brains?
forever
I
as
mean,
well, do
they
they?
think.
Not Highlander.
Well, oh no, what was it? They don't age.
Oh,
Because
right.
essentially the only reason lobsters die is because they just keep growing and growing. At a certain point, they don't shed any more of their skin, their shell. That's it. That's the word. So they either die before that happens, or they just grow too much into their own shell and die. But they don't actually die of old age.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Then. Or they get cooked into a delicious meal.
Yes. But what do you mean they don't have brains?
They don't have brains.
How do they think? They snap.
They don't have brains. So for Christmas dinner last year, I was making lobster.
Nice.
And I was going to get some fresh lobsters, but I had to pick them up on the Saturday, and Christmas Day was on the Tuesday or something. I don't want lobsters, 7 lobsters as well in my kitchen. Where would I put them? They would have to live in the back.
Yeah. With your 7
lobster
lobsters.
meals.
Yeah. Jesus.
So I was researching how to kill a lobster.
Right.
And yeah, they don't have brains. They just have a nervous system. So when you put them in the freezer, they go into a kind of coma. So the nervous system doesn't work anymore, and then you just put a spike through their head to sever the nervous system.
I thought the thing you do is you chuck them into boiling water and you hear their deathly
scream,
screams.
yeah.
And it's not actually them screaming, it's just the air really escaping from the shells.
Like a kettle.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, they're screaming. You know what? When I go to a cinema, it's screaming, it's really scary. I'm like,
It's just air escape. Like, so if someone's a murderer and like chucks humans into like boiling water, and someone's going, no, they don't have brains. It's
It's fine.
It's just air escaping from their skin.
So, well, just to go back to yours, so a lobster, it basically like gets given like a kiddie jumper and never gets an adult jumper, and basically grows so big that the kiddie jumper
Strangles
crushes it.
They keep getting new jumpers like every so long, but at one point they get no more jumpers.
And they just keep getting bigger until the jumper throttles them.
Yeah.
Wow. Right, well, we're getting way on point here.
Dark.
But, so Nick Deere wants to know, if we were in the film The Lobster, what animal would we choose and why? So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Going first.
Because I've never seen The Lobster.
Oh, right, okay, it's good.
And for this, I would just I read the premise of The Lobster and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to pick an animal that I like.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like your animal's going to be the same as mine?
My animal's a honey badger.
Oh, right. Okay. Nice.
Vicious.
They're just right good.
So what is a honey badger?
So a honey badger, it's smaller than an owl badger. So a normal badger to us is smaller than that. It kind of looks like a skunk. Lives in Africa. Take on anything.
Yeah,
Don't care.
Fearless.
Yeah. I've seen documentaries of them taking on like prides of lions. Just one tiny little honey badger by itself.
Like multiple prides of lions.
Yeah, just having some sort of gang warfare. Like two tribes of, two prides even of lions coming together to have a fight, and then just one honey badger just been like, it's not happening.
Is that like the equivalent then? Our badgers, the UK badgers, they've grown up in a nice suburb surrounded by nice surroundings.
Yeah.
Honey badgers, they've grown up on the streets. They know how to survive.
The mean streets. They just don't care. Like the one documentary that I saw of the one specific honey badger just kept escaping from its enclosure all the time. It was great. Like it was like a 12-foot the hole dug into like the ground that it lived in with like 6-foot fences around that, and it just used to pull trees like to the side and place them on the side of the wall and climb up and escape. Just run riot.
I love the sound of this. I like animals that are like a bit cheeky or a bit naughty, and that one sounds a bit naughty
and a bit deadly and vicious and murderous.
Are they like deadly then? If one started attacking you, would you be fucked?
No, it'd do some damage, but it won't kill you.
Right, okay.
Unless you
Oh,
felt
that's
it far and it got the neck.
Yeah.
It sounds quite like you. Like fairly small, feisty, could do some damage, but probably won't kill you.
Not on purpose,
Unless you're a
anyway.
lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, that was a really good choice.
Do you want to go next, Hobo?
Okay. Well,
I've got sweat tash.
I've got the backs of my knees are sweaty. Where like the fold in my leg.
I tried to bring a prop for this.
Oh, Hobo's going for a prop. You've not brought an animal, have you?
You've
It's
not
not
got
like a hamster.
road-
Oh, where's your hand going?
just roadkill.
Okay, I've lost the prop. So I'll just go for my second choice because I can't find the prop.
Right, okay.
My second choice, and probably my better choice really, I just really wanted to include a prop, was a tardigrade. Tardigrade.
Oh, what?
A
what?
tardigrade. Also known as water bears or moss piglets.
What? I've never heard of it.
You've just gone for this,
No.
for the ridiculous name.
No, they are awesome. They are tiny, like little microbe things that are found in like loads of water. You probably drank a load of them, but they are pretty indestructible. They can survive in space on their own.
Right.
They've been around for like longer than the dinosaurs.
Are they basically critters?
They've been around longer. They're not-
Longer than critters, right?
Critters you can kill easily compared to these fuckers. They live in like the Antarctic or anything. They can do. They're indestructible, and they can be.
So how did you find out about Tardi Gras?
Tardi Gras.
Do you like put beads on them and then get your boobs out?
Well, it was. I first read about them ages ago because there's a lot of scientists studying them to see what things we can benefit from them. And then more recently, the new Star Trek series Discovery, I think it's called. They kind of did it was really interesting. They did a sci-fi version of a tardigrade that can travel through time, and I was like,
Say the name again.
tardigrade. It's
Tar-
so tard like TARDIS.
Yeah.
Or
From
the
Doctor Who.
Tard.
Yeah, right.
So tardigrade. Tardigrade.
Tardigrade.
I need to Google. I need to see what
if you look
it
at
looks
them,
like.
that's the reason they've got these like waterbeds, because they look kind of cute for little.
They're
Normally,
fucking
like
disgusting.
Let's have a
It
look.
looks like a leaf shit.
That looks like a knit.
Yeah, it does.
Little pets, and they've got like loads of claws on the end of it. They've got like
They've got an arsehole for a mouth.
yeah.
It looks like all foreskin.
Yeah.
Does no one else find that beautiful? I've spent too long on the streets looking at foreskin,
So what, you love this because it's indestructible? We're starting to get a thing.
and it
here going
can,
on.
and it can, it survive no matter where, like on its own, and it's been around for like millions of years. Like some of them are really fucking old. So
Do
Why
they
do I
interview
feel-
them? Do they interview them? Like, tell me how old you are.
no, they just stab at them with large needles, I guess.
Do they have brains?
I don't know actually. I promote anyone to look up tardigrades. They are cool as F.
I have never heard of these. Oh, there's a pink one.
Ooh.
Ugh,
Oh, that does
really
look like
Yeah.
That looks like a mock-up.
That is a labe.
that-
There is loads of them, loads of pictures of them. Oh, I don't like this. Oh.
You could have some tardigrades on you right now.
It's
and not
proper Starship
realise.
Troopers. Are they that small then that you would never see them?
I think you can maybe see them. I don't know how exactly small, but I'm pretty sure you do need a microscope to see them.
Oh, so you're raving on about them, but you don't know how big they are.
I can't remember all the facts. I need movie knowledge more than I need interesting scientific facts.
I bring you facts every week.
I
You
know.
do. They are good facts as well.
The lobster fact was really good.
I feel so bad about killing them if they don't have a brain.
These have been around longer than the dinosaurs. I wrote down that fact. 530 million years old.
I feel like that's the kind of shit that if we found life on Mars or another planet,
It's going to be,
Tardi
that's
Gras.
what alien life is going to be.
Right, okay, so Tardi Gras, I'm going to go for an otter.
An otter.
Yeah, an otter. I would want to be an otter. One, because, I mean, they just look ace. Like, they have the best time, and they, like, carry their young on them, which I always find really funny. But the more you look into otters, the more funny they are. Like, they love to chat, which is, I find, quite funny.
What?
Yeah, on this website, it was talking about good facts about otters, and one was that they're super chatty, and they sit around them like, and the other one they're like, like that, and they have a chat, and they're proper dicks. I watched a program about, it was one of these like zoo programs, and they put otters in an enclosure with another animal. I can't remember, something like,
Like a mongoose.
armadillo or something like that. I think the armadillo was pregnant, and they kept fucking with it, and they're like, were throwing stones at it. So they put it in a private enclosure, and they went up behind the enclosure and started banging rocks on the wall. And it was like, the armadillo just wants to go to sleep, and the otter's like, fucking wake up, bang, bang, bang. And I just thought that was really funny. Another couple of things.
So you want to be an absolute dick.
Yeah,
of an animal.
basically. I want to talk a lot and be a dick. They love eating. That's another thing that I'm fond of already. And one thing that I like the sound of is they can close their ears when they go swimming. So as you guys know, I can't swim underwater because water goes in my dodgy ear and I get infections. So if I could close my ear, I could go diving, see everything I want to see some Tardi Gras or whatever.
I think you should have a special swimming cap that has a little lever so you can close your ear off and just.
Yes.
If you like, I feel in a movie, if you had like an inventor, like persona,
Friend.
you would, they would have made you this ear closing flap.
Yeah, like if Doc was my friend,
Yeah.
he'd have made me that.
Well, I thought you might enjoy this. Weirdly enough, last night I saw this video, which is a bunch of otters around a tree all wriggling around.
Oh, well, I look at them, they're just wriggling, they're just dicks. I just find them really funny.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
Do you not know what they did to Terry Nutkins?
Yeah, that's even better.
They bit his fingers off.
Yeah, Terry Nutkins is a creep.
You don't know
From
who
the
Terry
Really Wild
Nutkins
Show.
is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's got like 6 fingers missing or something. Like, because not just one otter on one occasion, multiple otters on multiple occasions
Well, then
have
he's
bitten
an
off
idiot.
fingers.
Why didn't he learn? And you didn't learn that a skullet has never been in fashion, ever. So yeah, I love otters, and I like the fact that if there's more than one of them, if they've got two different names, so like a pride for lions. I can't remember what the water one is, but when they're on land, they're called a romp. I just like the idea of being part of a romp.
Have a good romp.
Yeah, with my otter friends, who can all close their ears. And that's it. That's why I'd want to be an otter. So, Katty, what would you be again?
Honey badger.
Honey
badger.
Honey badger.
And what was yours again?
Tardigrade.
And mine was an otter. So we'll be back shortly to talk about critters.
Now, have you thought of what animal you'd like to be if you end up alone?
Yes, a lobster.
Why a lobster?
Because lobsters live for over 100 years. Are blue-blooded, like aristocrats. And stay fertile all their lives. I also like the sea. Very much. I water ski and swim quite well since I was a teenager.
I must congratulate you. The first thing most people think of is a dog, which is why the world is full of dogs. Very few people choose an unusual animal, which is why they are endangered. A lobster is an excellent choice.
This podcast is part of our Practical Effects season. Hello and welcome back to this Critters episode of the Spoilt Milk podcast. Yes, today we're going to be discussing the 1986 Critters film, not the sequels. Have any of you seen the sequels?
I have the box set.
You've got the box set? Of course you've got the box set. How many is there in that?
4.
Okay, so they got 4 out of this franchise. Woof. So I've seen, I think it's 3, the one with DiCaprio in, because I thought I'd seen Critters, and then was like, oh shit, this isn't the film I've seen. So this is the first time I've ever seen this film. What about you, Hobo?
Yeah, I think I've seen a mix of a couple of them. So I do remember bits from this, but there's also bits that I didn't remember. So I think I've seen a couple of the other sequels, but how many? I don't know.
I feel like I saw bits from this when I was younger on other programs. Like I remember seeing something late night. I've talked about before, haven't I, where me and my brother used to set a video recording on long play, and we'd set it off at like 8 and go, Mum, we're taping something really wholesome.
Yeah.
Like this church program on Channel 4, but we knew that there was something on later. And we'd watch all kinds of nonsense, but there was stuff like, there was a program about horror films, and there was clips of like The Thing and Hellraiser and Critters on. So I remember seeing bits of it. So when I was watching, I was like, I recognise that bit. I recognise the bounty hunters. But it must have just been from one of those shows.
Probably.
Are the bounty hunters in a lot of the sequels?
Not that I can remember.
Oh, do you know what? I love a bounty.
Oh, the coconut bar.
I used to hate those as a kid. If I got them in a selection box, straight out. But now I fucking love a bounty, especially the dark one.
Oh, the red ones.
Yeah, the dark chocolate bounties. Oh!
No, coconuts, the only good thing coconuts for are horse hooves, and that's it.
Oh, yeah. They're good for oiling a beard if you've got coconut oil.
No.
Yeah, good times. So, Katty, what's Critters about?
So, Critters is about 8 little kind of porcupine-y guys that were supposed to be sent to like some sort of alien jail that didn't. They escaped from the little prison asteroid and stole a ship, and the ship had enough fuel to go around like the galaxy multiple times. But then they went to Earth.
Yeah, do you know what? That was like a really big shock when that first started, and it was talking about this maximum security prison. I was like, what the fuck? Who's in a prison? What's going on? But I quite like that. I was like, you'd never get that.
Why were the aliens so American though?
Yeah, they were super American.
They were pretty casual about their job as well, in a very American way. There's like, yeah, well, you know, there's meant to be 10, but there's only 8.
Because we killed 2 of them because they kept eating too much.
You don't misplace those. Are they like honey badgers then?
Kinda, yeah. I think they're space honey badgers.
Right, okay then. So they escape in this ship and they end up down on Earth.
Yeah.
And then this is pretty much where we're introduced to the family of the film, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's... One of my main notes about this film is around the tone and how tonally it goes all over the place. And when it first started, it felt like Homeward Bound or The Waltons or
Yeah,
something like that.
very wholesome. And
Yeah, wholesome family farm, lots
Like,
of strings.
everyone in that family is a like a very typecast
Yeah.
dad, typecast mom, son,
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
daughter.
I felt like the
Slut.
mum was one cherry pie away from being like the quintessential cartoon mum. Like, if she'd have just put a cherry pie on the ledge and then a cat smelt it and started floating towards it or something like that, I'd have been like, right, yeah, you've really...
It
covered
was
all
very
bases.
cartoony. Did you say slut for the daughter?
She was a hoe.
Yeah, once she like, I've just been fucking one dude and now I'm all about Steve.
Oh,
yeah,
she
it's
was all
like
about
where
Steve.
you were like called Craig or something like that, or Chris, and it's like what
Fucking Chris,
And
what a
then-
shit name.
He's only interested in hog farming.
a
or
hog
something.
farming,
yeah.
and the dad was like, "Well, I was a hog farmer."
Yeah.
And he gets frisky with a mum at the start, doesn't he? He's like, ooh, bake me some pies.
I loved your little like arm movement. Oh yeah, so yeah, he was just a lowly pig farmer. Sorry to any pig farmers out there. Apparently, you're not a catch if you're a pig farmer.
Well,
Apparently
I
not.
think it depends. If you're only obsessed with pig farming, you're not. I mean, if you're only obsessed with one thing, you're not going to be that interesting to hang out with. Because once you, initially, I'll be very interested in what goes into pig farming. After like the first couple of days of speaking to you about pig farming, I'm going to be like, do you like movies? do you like anything else?
I like
other than-
Babe. In the city. Any others? Babe 2.
Babe 2 is Pig in the City.
Who is it?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
Is the first one just Babe?
Babe.
Yeah.
Just Babe.
Oh, Babe.
I got you,
Oh,
Babe.
babe.
So yeah, we get the farm life, and this is where we're introduced to Brad as well, the kid of the family, hogging the bathroom.
Yeah.
I reckon he was up to no good.
He was apparently just running the thermometer under the hot tap so he could pretend to be sick.
Oh yeah, that old chestnut. He was a bit of a chestnut head, wasn't he?
He was a bit ginge.
Yeah, he was very ginger.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely kind of kid you'd think gets killed off straight away, I thought, looking at
right,
him.
okay then.
Like, when this started, I was like, that kid, he's not going to last. He's going to hide somewhere at least, if not get a bit murdered.
Even when
A
they
bit
started, even when they started leaving like really obvious breadcrumbs about his love for pyrotechnics and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder when that's going to come back.
Yeah, obviously.
It's going to shoot up some schools.
there's making him out to be the Home Alone kid of the family farm.
The dad was a bit of a dick, I thought. Going back to the dad.
I enjoyed the dad. The fact
You
that he
like
come up
him?
from the basement drinking a drink out of a jar.
Oh, yeah.
Or is that a bit of moonshine, do you reckon?
I don't know, because then he was sat like drinking some coffee at the table, just putting like honey or something like that in it. Just like spooning some sort of jam into his...
Jam in your coffee.
It looked like it. It could have been honey.
I do like jam, though. I do like a bit of jam.
I
In
do
a
have to
coffee, though.
Interrupt a bit. I reckon you guys should try that. It's really tasty.
It's a donut on it.
So the Hobo's
It's honestly,
recommending a beer.
I just tried some. I was
Yeah,
like,
a refreshingly stereotype-free beer made with love and lemongrass.
Love.
Love.
I could taste the love inside me.
Manen.
Honest to God, I just had someone went, oh,
Yeah, I saw your face.
yeah. And I had another sip. I was like, I feel bad hogging this.
That is pretty tasty.
It is.
It's pretty tasty.
I've had a couple from this brewery, and they're spot on.
Oh.
They know what they're doing.
Refreshingly stereotype free as well, I would say.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I did.
So we've got the whole family. We've got the mum, the dad, who says he's going to hang his kids' bones out or something.
Yeah,
He's going to skin him and hang his bones out to
I
dry.
was like, that is an overreaction if I've heard of one.
yeah, that's for farm life. You know, you see like animals getting killed, like chickens getting their heads chopped off every day.
Yeah, that's
Talking
true, yeah.
about skinning is probably natural.
Yeah, that's true. We've got April, the daughter. We've got Helen, the fit mum. Did anyone else think the mum was pretty tasty?
Yeah. I would have asked her on a nice meal.
Yeah.
on a nice meal.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
out for a nice meal.
Asked her on a nice meal. Yeah, I can't afford a nice meal as a homeless person, so
She's the mum from E.T. as well, isn't she? I was
She
like,
is
I
the mum for
recognise
E.T..
you.
I didn't recognise her face. But I haven't watched E.T.
But
in
you did a
ages.
body.
Oh, what? Yeah, I was going to say, what did you recognise?
I recognised her cooking. Let's just say that.
And then we start to see all the rest of the characters. So we get the cops, we get Harv, the older, like sheriff type figure.
With a squint.
Yeah, I'm Harv, I've got the squint.
Again, the standard sheriff.
And
yeah,
then he
small
had
town
his,
guy.
like receptionist lady, Lynn
Yeah.
Shay from Insidious.
Was it?
Yeah, the...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so...
The psychic
yeah,
lady.
the psychic lady.
Oh, I recognised her from something else, and I can't remember what it was.
It's her from Kingpin as well.
That noise was Cham putting his fingers through his mouth and sticking his tongue between those fingers.
There you go. And she's reading gossip magazines. She's
No,
just
she's
got a good
reading the
voice.
National Enquirer.
Is that what it is? And there's a story about John Travolta being a waitress or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is odd.
What else?
Again, tonally weird.
Oh, I didn't write what the headline was, but it was something great. And it's always them types of like magazines where it's like, I gave birth to a bat boy,
Oh, yeah.
or I got abducted by aliens and now my son's a fish finger, which is that's a real story that was on national TV.
What, and someone gave birth to the fish finger? Or they were a boy before and now they're a fish finger?
So it was a lady who said that her son had been abducted by aliens and got turned into a fish finger, and they were on this morning, and Philip Schofield had the fish finger that was her son and an other fish finger, put them behind his back, mixed them up, and then pulled them out. It's like, which one's your son?
No, he didn't. I love
Yeah.
Did she guess right?
I don't know.
yeah.
Suspense! That's fucking hell.
You know when people take the wrong baby home at the hospital? That's that, just on live TV, taking the wrong fish finger home.
Are you blaming Philip Schofield for all the
I
mixed up
am,
babies?
yeah. He's mixing up babies, fish fingers.
He goes in and just switches someone's baby behind his back. Which one's your real son?
If someone swapped out my fish fingers for a baby, I'd be a bit pissed off.
What if they swap your baby for some fish fingers?
I don't have one. A baby. So we've got the family now. We've got, I think Charlie's coming to there as well. So the kind of
Charlie's in the prison.
stereotypical, yeah, because we meet the police characters, then we meet Charlie. So he's a bit of a stereotypical, like, small town loon who's
Bit of a drunk.
Yeah, very similar to the Randy Quaid character in Independence Day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've been abducted, I've seen things you'll never see, and no one really takes them seriously, but you know they're gonna be like, oh, actually, there are aliens.
Yeah, because he talks about he's getting radio waves through his teeth or something.
Yeah, it's
fillings.
fillings,
Yeah, that's it.
And then we get the bounty hunters coming in. There's two pitheads.
The no faces.
So,
Just couldn't afford enough special effects, I don't
no,
think.
they were just like, we'll just put some goop around the head and they can just be a giant pea.
Yeah, that's it. But there was a really cool
There
effect
was.
when... So that gloop ball head essentially means they can transform into any person. They'll watch a bit of 80s rock TV.
What's that, Power of the Night?
By Johnny Steele. Do you not think he
Steele.
looks like Pat Sharp?
Fuck me. Every time. I couldn't take him seriously. Every note I made was like Pat Sharp and Pied turned up or whatever.
Looks like Pat
Fun
Sharp.
house.
Oh, a lot of fun.
Prizes to be won.
It's a real wacky show where anything can go.
Sounds amazing.
So, yeah, he turns into Pat Sharp.
By anti-melty face.
Yeah, anti-melty face.
Yeah,
and
like-
Uncle Melty Face.
In like reverse melty face.
Yeah, so it was kind of like the Indiana Jones
from
Raiders of the
Raiders.
Lost Ark
Yeah.
scene, wasn't it? With the face melting. That was really good.
He looks
It's like
good.
reverse face melt. I loved that bit. It was like the first proper bit of special effects that you saw.
Yeah, definitely.
And that still holds up. I know we keep talking about things holding up, but if that was in a film now, I'd be like, that looks cool. Obviously, it'd be filmed a bit better.
Better than some of the shots of... There's a bit where you got the moon and the earth in a space shot, and it's just very two flat discs. And it's just like, oh, I could have done that better with a bit of paper.
It's like Button Moon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But his face melts and he turns into Johnny Steele. And I was like, right. Because he did that thing, which I quite like in films. It's one of those things that crops up in films every so often. But I love it when someone watches a video of like the history of Earth in like
Are you going to say
20
Hitler?
seconds. Yeah, and there's a bit of Hitler, a bit of the wall coming down.
No Hasselhoff, though,
But-
bringing the wall down.
Like, I had this conversation recently. The reason Hitler's already in there You right, Katty?
Yeah.
Just smacked your arm on the table a little
I
bit.
just rolled my elbow off the table.
Is because that was the first transmission out into space, wasn't it? That's
really?
That's why it's always in there. Obviously, the World War II was a big moment in our history, but more importantly, in regards to people like aliens looking at our history, is that's one of the first signals we spent out in space. I thought.
Do they update it like year by year?
What like
the signal? They send like.
Oh, they're not
one
still
up.
sending that same signal. It's, like,
But it's still out there, right? If they've sent it once.
yeah,
it's
once
still-
you sent it, I
which
guess
you
you
can't be
can't.
pulling it back.
Yeah, but I don't know how far it goes.
Like when we live stream.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, once we've said that, can't be taking it back.
Once we've saluted the Fuhrer, you can't take it back.
So he turned into Pat Sharp rock star.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, here we go. There's going to be some good gags along the way of this. No, I like, and they set it up as if there was going to be. Like, the kid, the little boy, loved that band. What were they called? Did they say the name of the band? It's
They
just
did
Johnny
say.
Steele.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the mum had like a bit of a moment on the settee where she was watching Johnny Steele.
Yeah.
April was listening to Johnny Steele.
I thought we didn't even get a shot. I thought the shot of her mum was her going to be like, he's sexy.
Steele, yeah.
But she just looked, she was dead inside.
Yeah, she
looked
was,
at it,
yeah.
looked down, looked at it again. She just didn't react to anything. I think she was on a lot of like drugs to keep
Yeah,
her.
it's like probably a lot of Prozac.
Yeah.
I was living in bumfuck Tennessee.
But they set it up as if, like, everyone knows who this is. This is, like, the big pop star of that time. So there'll be some kind of fun little bits along the way where people recognise him. Especially, I'd like to go later, but there's a bit where the other P-Ed takes on the face of a priest in the town.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, someone's going to say some joke about a priest, a pop star, and something walk into a bar, and just no. And I was like, well, you've missed like some good opportunities for a bit of levity, a bit of fun along the way, and they just didn't do anything with it.
They
I
were
think
a
at
bit-
one point, someone's like, the kid's like, Johnny Steele? And it's
Yeah.
like,
The only kind of funny thing that happened was in the bar when the second P had changed his face to Charlie's
Charlie.
face, and he's like, shirts off, buddy, or shirts on, buddy, or something like that.
Oh, I can't remember that line.
That's the only funny bit.
That's making me laugh. So yeah, we'll come back to some of those bits with Charlie and Pat Sharp later. Billy Zane comes in.
Oh, Billy Zane with his
Billy Zane.
ponytail.
Oh yeah, Billy Zane looks so cool in this film.
Sexy Steve.
With his little Porsche or whatever. And then his role in the film is come in, have dinner,
Come in.
do a lot of like fingering and stuff in a barn for hours, it seems like. Hours on end, that's a lot of
There was a lot of fingering.
like, what's it called when you do stuff over the trousers? Like, and it's like
Not sex.
A fumble?
maybe, and it's
Dry
like,
humping?
Dry humping, yeah.
okay.
He basically comes in, has some dinner, while the daughter tries to give him a handy.
Yeah.
In front of her mum and dad.
I thought he was going to come in, be like the dickhead boyfriend.
Yeah.
He was really nice,
Yeah.
respectful.
Yeah.
April wanted to go for
It's
a
like,
ride.
no handies.
Yeah.
Please. Your mum and dad are both here, and your little kid brother, who actually is quite into it. Little Brad, at one point, when they go off to the barn, he's like, oh, get in. Like, he wants to have like a little look. Comes in, does about 3 hours of dry humping, because
Yeah.
it was light when they went in, and night when she comes out anyway. And then dies.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
he don't even
Poor
have
Bill.
a fight that critter either.
No.
He gets bit and then legs it into a wall and smacks his head.
You'd at least try and like jab it in the face.
Yeah, it's basically a hedgehog.
Yeah.
Like the size of a size 4 football, not even the size 5
I don't
regulation premiership
I
ones.
don't know sizes of footballs.
Maybe even a size 3. That's the one that's like, do you remember the Italian 90 footballs that they used to get that are small and it was green, red and white? And you got them with Coca-Cola?
No.
All right, okay.
We're talking about the size of footballs.
Yeah, exactly. So they were the size of about an Italian 90, about a size 3, and then over the course of the film they get to a 4 or size 5, and then
okay.
it all goes shit crazy,
Yeah.
don't it? So Billy Zane gets bumped off quite quickly.
And do you not
Really
realise
quickly.
as well that this...
I didn't even realise he died. So I don't know.
Oh, did you not?
No.
Well, I just thought it was weird that this didn't follow the norms of, if you have sex, you're going to die. Where if you're a virgin, you're going to... Where Billy Zane was the good guy, and he wasn't trying to have sex, and he was getting with his girlfriend, but he was very respectful. Yeah. But he died.
Yeah.
Just, no...
Critters take no prisoners.
Yeah, they don't care if you fucked anyone. They're just like, you're getting a little prick in your neck.
I'm always...
Okay, well, do you know what? On that note, we'll come back shortly for part 2 with more Critters fun. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this Critters special podcast. So at this point, we've introduced all the characters. We've lost Steve, even though I didn't know. Just later, I was like, "Where's Steve?" And then was like, "He must have died." Did we really see him? Like,
you didn't see
you didn't see like a death scene.
You saw all the blood coming out of his mouth while the critter were going to town.
Yeah, you saw him going down, and they essentially didn't try and help him.
You saw it going down.
No. Yeah, the critter
went down south.
Down.
Right. Okay then.
So he runs into the wall, like Hobo said. It looks like he knocks himself out, and then the critter's just going to town on his stomach, and he's like, and then bleeding out of his mouth.
I think because at that time, because they were so small, I just thought he's gonna get away with this.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was thinking, how are they gonna rack up the tension that people are getting killed by something as small as an Italian 90 football? I was thinking, you can just kick this off, like with the dad standoff in the basement.
The dad was. I thought he were walking towards one. I thought he was just going to punch it in the face.
He should have. That dad's a fucking dick. Does he get his hand bitten first? The dad?
No, it snaps at his hand and he gets his shoulder bitten.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he? I imagine that'd sting a bit though. You just got me on the finger with that one. So we cut to a weird scene in a church then, don't we? Because So just to catch up, the P-head guy who didn't transform for some reason, nothing liked him. Yeah, nothing liked him. He took on the appearance of the dead cop. Yeah, who as soon as when he turned up, I was like, "You're critter bait."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he was a bit of a creep. He kept hitting on that the secretary woman.
He weren't being creepy though. He was just being nice. He's like, "Oh, do you want me to bring some coffee and donuts back?"
No, the second time is like, when are we having this date? When she's already rejected him.
Yeah, but how do you know a backstory where she was like, "I'll go on a date with you one day," and he was like, "When am I going to see that donut?"
Oh,
sorry. So he
have some class.
I would be the first one killed off. If this was a Critters film, they'd be like, "That's your penance for being a scruffy cunt." So the guy takes on the form of the dead cop.
Like with scars and all.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
I did like that because he essentially doesn't know. Yeah.
And then that doesn't seem to take, and then he ends up taking over the priest. So there's a little scene in a church, isn't there?
Oh, they're driving the cop car backwards everywhere.
Oh, yeah. But what happens in the church scene? Because that seemed to just come out of nowhere.
Nothing really.
Drives into it, doesn't he?
They run about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, and they're all giggling at the word Sodom.
Yeah, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah, it didn't seem to set up anything. It didn't even seem to have like, oh, this is the underlying theme of Sodom and Gomorrah. It wasn't like Don't Look Back or anything like that.
Didn't one of the P-heads shoot an old lady though?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And then he takes on the form of the priest, and again, just felt like a missed opportunity. I really thought, this is good. He's going to look like the local priest, but walk around in a leather outfit, blowing people up and shooting people. This is quite an interesting idea, but they didn't really run with it.
Yeah. You just want it to go like bondage priest.
Bondage priest.
Don't we all want a bondage priest?
And then they go to a bowling alley. So this film is written and directed by the same guy who made Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Really?
Yeah, this was his first film. I think it's a different writer-director. But as soon as they went into that bowling alley, I was like, this looks like the bowling scene in Bill and Ted, where Napoleon's like, shit. Nerd.
So you got a deal. Film one bowling scene here, you get a second one free.
Yeah, buy one, get one free.
How cool were the bowling shirts, though?
Oh, the Ghostbusters bowling.
Yeah, the Pinbusters.
Can you? What did you notice the other references? Because obviously this is very close to.
Well, there was E.T.
Yeah, there's E.T. And then the whole premise is essentially Gremlins. Isn't it?
It's basically Gremlins. Isn't it? But the fact that they had E.T.'s, the mum from E.T. as well, was the mum. The music sounded like E.T. There was lots of fluty music.
There's an E.T. teddy later on as well.
Yeah, because it bites its head off, doesn't it?
That little bit, though, where the critter is like playing with a little E.T., I thought, a critter would be a pretty good pet.
Yeah.
But then I realised it would just really bite in. It'd probably eat my face off while I slept.
True.
I thought the critter was trying to hump the E.T. doll for a bit and then got angry. It was essentially, it got angry that E.T. rejected him and then instead of taking it, like a grown-up critter.
Like a champ.
Like a champ, it just bit its head off, so.
There was loads of references in this film.
I liked it when the critter swore.
Yeah, it said fuck, didn't it?
It did.
But the bit where they were in the bowling alley, that felt a lot like Terminator. Where they kind of came in and it was a bit like the scene where there's the punks and he's like, I'm going to take your clothes, and then they just start shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And even the way that they held the gun at like the hip height, it was very
Terminator. Yeah, I definitely get that. It was, just walk in, beat up a load of hard guys because they don't think you're hard. And...
like pick them up with no effort and throw them across a room.
And that's
change your face.
Yeah, that's when he changes to Charlie, doesn't he? The drunkard, crazy man. And that's what he looks like for the rest of the bounty hunter looks like for the rest of the thing, doesn't it?
So then, basically then we go to the end. We end up at the big standoff in the house. Well, that's really all it's leading up to, isn't it?
Yeah.
We see the bounty hunters off on their little thing, on their jollies. But the main story is critters attack the family, Steve doesn't get laid but dies, and then the big standoff where we start to see Brad use some of his pyrotechnics.
Yep.
The dad shoots loads of things.
Brad has balls of steel in this movie.
He cares not one little bit.
No.
When his dad's properly just fucked, and he's there with like half his hand missing, and he's like just messed up, like critters have bit him, and he's like, I'm gonna go and get help because the critters have cut the phone wires.
Yeah. You didn't see? Did I miss a scene where they cut the phone wires? Because
No, you didn't actually see them cut the phone wires. That's when the dad went down into the basement to find out what was going on, and he was like looking at the fuse box and everything, and the phone wires are cut. But then like Brad's like, no, I'll go.
Yeah.
I'm faster. Like, I can go on my bike. And, like, the dad was like, so, if I was to say yes, what would you do?
Yeah.
Knowing full well he's just going to say yeah anyways, because he's like, I just can't be arsed with this.
Yes,
That's a good dad
shit.
I love the bit, though, when the dad's, like, fucked up on the couch, and the kid's like, is Dad okay? And the mum's like, yes, he's okay. And she's like, check the windows. And he's like, yeah, but what about Dad? Check them again! And she just goes fucking full mental at him.
She does not handle this whole situation well, like in front of the kids.
Not.
The kids all handle it much better.
They're fine.
Even the dad who's like bit to shit and dying handles it better than her, who has been relatively fine.
The critter made her smash a plate.
Oh God. Yeah. But she has a proper breakdown. And the bit where she just screams at the kid, check him again!
I think, like, if I watch this back again, you'd notice she's already on the edge before anything bad happens. That's why she's on the Prozac.
It's like right at the beginning when the kids don't say thank you for breakfast, she just sits down, she's like, oh, thank you for the wonderful breakfast you've made, Mum. It's like, all right, passive aggressive.
Yeah, but if all she has to look forward in a week is going to watch her husband bowl. Like, I love earlier when he's like, are you not going to come and watch me bowl? It's like the 19-year-old daughter. No, I'm a fuck. That sounds boring as shit.
I'll have to get fingered in a barn.
Yeah. By Billy Zane of all people.
I would take getting fingered in a barn if we're going to watch someone else play a game.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, don't you want to see me bend over in my tight jeans? To his daughter. So yeah, they put their fate in the kid's hand, don't they? You see that earlier payoff coming back of where he's climbing out of his window down the tree.
Yeah.
That comes in useful later because he can escape. And then, shit starts to hit the fan. The critters start getting big. One of them... is it just one of it?
One of them gets super big.
He munches on a bunch of chickens, doesn't he, in the coop?
I must have missed that bit.
It wasn't super obvious, but that's essentially what was happening. He was meant to be eating... The more they eat, the bigger they get.
Yeah.
And he goes into that chicken coop. But it doesn't play it very well. Because I think the effects were very limited. They just had him
They only
stationary.
had 3 of the small critters, like the actual puppets.
Well, I was surprised in the intro you said how many there were exactly, because I had no idea.
I didn't
Yeah.
when you said it.
There were 8. It was 10, but...
Oh, okay. That makes sense, actually.
They
Yeah, because
killed
they say
2.
at the start.
Yeah.
So when they have shots of them like blowing them up, did they just blow up like a sock puppet or something?
No, so they had a couple where they'd not gone right, so they just used them to blow up. But actual like critters, they only had 3 of them, so that's why you don't see any more than 3 together at the same time.
Sounds like
Right,
Nazi
okay.
Germany. They're not going right, fodder.
Blow them up. I like that one that thought you were hard and could eat a firework.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't give a fuck.
For a second, though.
I was like, oh, he's eating it. He's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine. And then just goes, oh, shit. That's a little dead.
They're great. They've just got so much attitude.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
And I feel like this is the kind of film where I'd want to see a sequel, because maybe they'll run with some of the ideas of like what they can do. Because there was lots of... No, there was not lots. There was a few bits of... subtitles.
Yeah.
Like there was
Yeah.
the bit where it said, oh fuck, and then right at the end it said something.
Well, I was thinking of a bit with a shotgun. You know, where there's like, oh, shall we go in? And then it's like, oh, but they've got a shotgun. And
Yeah.
the guy's like, one of the critters is like, who gives a fuck? And then the mum pokes out the door, shoots the guy who said, who gives a fuck, with a shotgun.
And then the other one looks at it, is like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then rolls off.
I do like the rolling effect. I think that looks quite good.
And they even said, let's roll, as they rolled off one time, which was just cheesy as fuck.
They're like amazing street sharks.
Street Sharks, yes. Vin Diesel advertising Street Sharks. So the end gets a bit E.T., doesn't it? The kid gets on his BMX, goes off to save the day. The mum starts to shoot them, but quickly runs out of shells because the dad's like, I love guns, but I only keep 4 shells in the house.
Yeah.
And then we get to the end, really. So the bounty hunters turn up.
Yeah, so
They
Brad
make mates
gets
with Brad, don't they?
Yeah. And he like follows them around. The big critter. Oh, Brad goes into the house to try and save his cat, Chewy.
Oh, fucking yeah, as if you do that.
Yeah.
Go back into your cat, into your house.
But this is
for a
Brad.
cat.
Brad does not give a fuck.
Yeah,
For a
he
little ginger dick, he just... Dickhead, I mean. I'm not talking about...
Talking about his anatomy.
Can we cut this bit out?
Yeah, so he goes back into the house to get Chewy, has a bit of like a fight.
With the big critter.
Yeah, with the big critter who's pushed his BMX over earlier. That's the last straw.
Oh, I forgot about the big critter groping April at one point. You know, where he like shoves his hand through the door.
Oh,
And April-
yeah. He shoves his hand through the chest of drawers as well, pops out one of the drawers and like properly cops a feel.
Do you know what? I watched this film in the daytime, and I think that there was some like darker scenes where I just couldn't see what was going on. Like I was glinting and staring at the screen. I missed that groping scene.
No, there's a bit of groping going on with April.
And then the big critter steals April after...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's
after
like, I'm going after my sister.
Yeah, and then he jumps on his BMX, bumps into Charlie in the woods. And then...
And he's like, I told you, the real...
He was following his teeth, wasn't he? I don't know how that even works. He said,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? Oh, I've been following my teeth.
Yeah, there's signals from his teeth.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that line either.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I proper switched off.
But they both had lights on the bike, but yet didn't see each other and
No.
cycled into each other.
And then it
That's a
goes...
good point.
And then it goes absolutely berserk. So he throws a tiny little firecracker into the critter's spaceship.
Yeah.
Who fly off, and after he's rescued April...
Oh, no, Charlie throws a bottle of whiskey
Oh,
in
yeah.
Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, he does, yeah, because he's just has that on him.
Well, he had it in prison with him. He was sleeping off the booze right at the beginning, but he woke up, took a swig of his... I thought it was mouthwash at
Moonshine,
first,
that's it.
but it was whiskey.
Yeah, right.
It
so he
helps.
throws that in with a firecracker. The critters get a bit like, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit like arrogant, and decide they're going to, circle back and blow up the house. And then just blow up the entire house. And I was just like, that's your budget. Yeah. Like, maybe you could have had 10, 12 critters if you hadn't spent your entire budget blowing up the entire house.
Wouldn't you want to blow up a house?
I love that they just did it to be dicks as well. They literally did it like a little, suckers.
They're space otters.
They are space otters.
Yeah, they're going to bang some stones on the wall next year. So they blow up the house, and then they blow up.
Yeah.
Don't they? The firecracker blows up an entire ship somehow. And then Pat Sharp gives Brad a little...
It's a bit peedy, that. Yeah. Call me.
Call me.
Why would I? Badass on my own is what the kids should have said.
And he gives him a little, like, electronic device.
That's been on Pat Sharp's crotch the whole of the film.
Yeah, but it's pretty sweaty.
Yeah.
It's a day like today.
Yeah.
And then what does that device do?
Well, he says, like, call me anytime, as if, if you're in trouble. But then it beeps later... And their house starts rebuilding, sucking everything back to one point, including the cat.
The cat ends up in the post box.
Yeah, and then their ship flies by and goes, "You're welcome." So it was set up like it was if you're in trouble again, call us.
Me.
But then it also set up like saying, "Oh, by the way, we did this." Like, that's your favour done. Like, I don't know which way we were going for.
Wouldn't it have been great if he'd have pressed the button and it had rebuilt the house into Funhouse? And there was like a ball pool and a little bit where you're
kids driving around and going,
the twins come out the front door.
25 coins and it's like clung, clung, clung. I
And
used to love that noise. And twins. And the cat's in the letterbox, isn't it?
Little Chewy.
But there's a little end, isn't there, where we think it's all done,
which nowadays would have been a post-credit scene.
Yeah, it would have, because I waited to see if there was a post-credit scene. I shouldn't have done, because they'd set it up. So what do we see at the end?
Some little critter eggs.
Little critter eggs.
Holy fuck.
Is that so? You've seen Critters too? Does that
I wish we was filming that.
Yeah. Does that come into it at all, the critter eggs? Or...
I honestly can't remember.
Right.
So are we going to go through 2, 3, 4 over a period of time?
Let's do it.
So what do you think of it then? What do you think of Critters? We've gone through the film. We've gone through Pat Sharp.
You wish you could go through Pat Sharp.
I'll go. This was very 86. Very much like not one part of it was not exactly what I would have expected from a film at this time. And there were some really ropey effects, and none of them, there's really big scenes out of order, but I think I'm just a sucker for this era. I really enjoyed it. As terrible as it fucking was, it was good.
What, so you're saying it's a luxurious cheese?
I am saying it's a very luxurious cheese.
Oh, nice.
And I actually want to watch the sequels.
And do you know what? I'm going to jump in there because I think we've probably got an idea of what Katty's thinking about it. I thought, again, this film's tonally all over the place. There were bits where it's like the Waltons, lovey-dovey, nice family. Bits where it's like dark. Then there's bits of weird comedy with the critters saying folk, but not much of that. But I loved it. I proper went with it. I really liked it. I don't know why. I can't really, if someone said, why do you like it? I think it was just a bit of cheeky fun. It was very post-E.T., post Gremlins.
If anything, I think the only reason it's not more of a classic is probably the bit we say with the Bounty Hunters not making the most of them. They were probably the most wasted. All those wasted scenes revolve around the Bounty Hunters. But
so I would say it's a luxurious cheese as well.
Well, you all know what my opinion is going to be.
Shock.
I love this film.
I hate it. I thought you were going to go into a rant.
No, I absolutely love it. I mean, what more could you want? There's tiny little alien creatures. There's like enough sort of politically incorrectness. Pardon me, that is not ridiculously offensive like some sort of hate video. There's explosions.
What politically incorrectness? What were we talking about it? Did I miss what?
No, it's just I can't remember an example in particular, but it's It's not what you'd see on TV nowadays.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because it's like, I think it's only a 12, and the amount of swearing and stuff that's in it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like the way that they treat Charlie.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fly these days.
Yeah, true.
Even the fact that like their little kid's best mate is like an old man, they don't do that in films anymore. It was acceptable in the 80s.
An old alcoholic man.
Yeah.
Who's a bit special as well.
Yeah.
It's just... it's great. It is great. It is the creme de la creme of cheese.
Wow. Right, okay then. So for the first time in a while, I think, we've all agreed that this is a luxurious cheese.
Have we actually agreed on anything?
Have we ever done that?
I think we have agreed on
Maybe.
one. I think there's been one. This is possibly the second one that we agreed on. I should keep note of this. We should follow. I'll start making a note of which one we've agreed on.
So that's it. So I've been Chris. Nice having you round again.
Why is this turned into a family show? Welcome to Chris's Family Hour.
To Chris's Funhouse. And yeah, I guess see you later, Hobo.
Bye.
Until next time, Katty.
I guess I've got to leave.
I thought I was staying there.
Yeah.
Okay, and see you on next episode.
Pretty sick, Mom.
I'm okay, sport.
He's fine. He doesn't look fine to me. Why don't you go check the windows? I already did.
We'll check him again!